Welcome back to Satisfactory version 1, where we continue with our big endgame factories. In the last few episodes, I already covered, if you missed it, silica and quartz crystal, completely endgame base recipes. We made crystal oscillators, we actually made 50 crystal oscillators, that's a huge number. Aluminum casing, more than 500 we made, and now it's time to move to computers and radio control unit so that we can finally have our plutonium factory being 100% efficient. So computers, it's gonna require oil. So we have a completely new oil factory over here. As you can see, a lot of oil deposit. We're still in the same place, right? I said at the beginning of this, small break in the milestone that we would build some new factories in this part of the map where we hadn't built anything before, and we've been delivering, right? We did the silica over here, we did the crystal oscillator over there, we did the bauxite for the aluminum casing here, right? And now we are over here where there's quite a lot of oil. As you can see, we're actually not using that much, but at least it's all recorded, right? It's all gathered here. So we have some normal oil extractor producing this one 300, for example, so it's merged with this one 302. Then we have this one is 600. We have another one here that is 600, and we have in the back a similar resource. It's still crude oil, but it is with the well pressurizer, right? So at the end, we basically get over here, and you can see we have 4 pipes of 600 each. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But we're only using one, to be honest. One is enough to do everything we need to do here. So what are we actually doing? Well, we are first transforming this crude oil into heavy oil residue and polymer resin. This is an alternate recipe we already looked at in the past. Creates a lot of heavy oil residue and a bit of polymer resin. What we're going to do with this heavy oil residue is two things. We're going to use some of it here into those blender, and then we have all the rest. You can see here, right? This is the color of the heavy oil residue. All the other one is going here. And then on the other hand, for the polymer resin, we're sending everything upstairs here, right? And they're all being merged into only one thing. One thing is this line here. And by the way, as always, it's green everywhere. Love it. So what are we doing with the polymer resin? Well, we're transforming it into rubber. Why are we transforming it into rubber? Well, there is basically two big recipes. You can either transform it into rubber or you can transform it into plastic. But for the plastic, you can see you're taking 60 and making 20. With the rubber, we are taking only 40 to make this 20. So we can make more rubber with this, right? So it's definitely a better outcome here. Just put that here. So this is what we're doing all the way here. It does require, as you can see, some water. To be precise, we have 10 of these. So it's 400 of water, 400 of resin. So 400 of water is basically 2 of these. We have 2 of these are 200. That's 400 of water. I put here a small valve to make sure that the water doesn't come back, but that's basically it. And so yes, as I said, with this we're creating rubber. We're creating 200 of rubber to be precise. This 200 of rubber is merged here and it's gonna go on this side. Before we go on this side, let's look at the other two production with the heavy oil residue. What are we doing? The first one goes here into those blenders. Those blenders are taking heavy oil residue and water to make fuel. This is the alternate diluted fuel recipe, probably the best recipe in the whole game, because having a lot of fuel is really good. And you're taking a bit of the oil residue, you add some water, which is basically unlimited, right? And you get double the amount into fuel. That is really, really good. And this is what you can see over here. Again, we have 2 of these water extractors for 400 of water. We have this heavy oil residue here, and on the outside we're gonna make a lot of fuel. And you can see this color of the fuel. The fuel will also go into the same place as the rubber. So we know rubber and fuel are going there, but what are we doing with all the rest of the heavy oil? It is going over here and it is going into all of these. We have 4 on this side, and we have, I forgot how many, sorry. It's in my Excel, but let's count quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 15 in total. They're all doing the same recipe. It is heavy oil residue into petroleum coke. We have 4 on this side, so that means 480, and then we have tons on this side. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah, it is so much that you need definitely 2 or something, or to be precise, 2 Mark 5 belts. You can see these one here and this one there. But these 480, we are not really sending into this awesome sink. There is one just in case, but we are actually using the petroleum coke into this part here. But before we look at those assemblers, let's see what's happening with the rubber and our fuel. We're going to use the trick I showed you a couple of episodes ago, where we're gonna recycle basically the rubber. So we take 30 rubber and 30 fuel to make 60 plastic. So we double it. And then we're gonna do the same on that side, right? And then we're gonna take, the plastic we're making, and we're gonna do the same on the inverse side, meaning we're taking 30 plastic, 30 fuel, and then making 60 rubber. And this is based on this, using this plastic there. The plastic that is over here, to be honest, I'm actually doing nothing with it right now. We're just sending it into the awesome sink. We may start using it at some point, but yeah, we basically have 200 of plastic here, and we have 400 rubber on the other side. You will see it over here, right? We're merging all of this rubber here to make 400. Some of it will go into an awesome sink, and most of it will go here. So we're gonna have this rubber and this petroleum coke for one of the first completely new alternate recipe I haven't shown you before, the electrode circuit board. Again, taking the rubber and petroleum coke, 20 and 40, to make 5 circuit boards. And then we're gonna take obviously all of those circuit boards, we merge them over here with all the others. There is an awesome sink as always that we're not really using. And we're gonna go over here into this whole line. I think it's 12. By the way, I think it's this exact same number. Yeah, here. We have 12 assemblers here, 12 assemblers there. And those 12 assemblers are gonna make computers, 5 circuit boards, and 1.667 crystal oscillator to make 3.333 computers. And this is the same number because this is 5, right? So with this, we're making a lot of computers, right? 3.33 times 12. This is actually 40 computers. It's huge. It's a huge increase. I think so far we were making maybe like 5 computers or something max. Now we're making 40. So that's a huge increase. We have 2-dimensional depots over here. Then we're going to have one of those drawn ports. And then we have, reserve in case we need it, and an awesome sink. I'll show you in a second where this drone is going. But yeah, this is 40, and this is using another alternate recipe called the crystal computers, because we're using crystal oscillators. Those crystal oscillators here at the bottom are coming from this line. You may recognize this is a crystal oscillator factory from the previous episode where we're making 50. And I had told you at the end of the last episode that there was this small hole in the mountain where we were sending crystal oscillator. Well, this is where we're sending them. Now let's go into Excel and let me in particular show you some of the different recipes so I can explain why I chose these ones. Let's talk first about the computers. There are 3 different recipes. We used to use the normal one that takes circuit boards for cables and plastic. Then we have another one that is replacing the plastic by rubber. That is replacing the cable by quick wire, so definitely a bit harder. And then that is replacing the 10 circuit board by 15 circuit board for an increase from 2.5 to 3.75. So in terms of ratio, computer to circuit board is actually the same, but then quick wire is a lot harder, I would say, to make than cables, right? Because cables you can make from copper or you can make from iron pretty easily, like I showed you in the last episode, and it's also not that much. So I don't love that one, but I guess, if you have Caterium close by, why not? The last one is the one we're selecting, so I guess you can understand that already I love it. I like it, I chose it for a couple of reasons. The first one is it's simpler. Instead of manufacturer, it's an assembler. So it's less electricity, takes less space, there's less resources to manage, right? There's only 2 instead of 3. Then the other thing that I really like is it's more efficient in terms of circuit board, right? We take 5 instead of 10, but we make more. Instead of 2.5, we make 3.3. The only complex thing is that you need crystal oscillators. But I already knew I needed to make crystal oscillators anyway. I needed to make crystal oscillators for the next thing we're going to look at. So I was like, yeah, I'm already in for making a couple of crystal oscillators. Let's just make a few more. Right? Let's just increase that production. And sure, the crystal oscillators production is not the easiest, but we made it pretty easy in the last episode, right? By using basically only iron. It wasn't that hard. It was just big, but it wasn't hard. So that is really why I'm looking, to this recipe. Again, it's not like you can exactly compare because it's different resources, right? Here you need rubber and plastic, quick wires, right? So it's not exactly the same resources, so it's hard to compare. But definitely it's a lot less circuit board and it's less resources. Then regardless of the recipe, you also need circuit board. So let's look at circuit boards. And similarly for this one, to be honest, I think it's very hard to say which one is the best. I think they're just all very different in terms of what you need. Right? The first one is copper sheet and plastic. Then you have plastic and quick wire. So if you go with this one, you may want to also use quick wire for the computers. Right? Then you have rubber and petroleum coke, the one we selected. And lastly, you have copper sheet and silica. Now, I personally think the last one is the least interesting, not because of efficiency. Again, in terms of efficiency, it's not that bad. If you look over here, 15 copper sheet to 7.5, here it's 27 to 12.5. So it's not like this is terrible, but the reason why I think it's not great is because silica is one of the resources that is quite limited on the map. Similarly, Caterium is pretty limited, so that's why I didn't go for that one. But the main reason why I went for this one, the electrode circuit board, is because both of those things, rubber and petroleum coke, are made from the same raw resource. Right? So I only need one raw resource, the oil. Once you have oil, you can make this circuit board. So that's why I selected this one. Again, not so much for efficiency. I think for efficiency we could discuss, but it would be very hard to conclude because it's all different resources. But I really chose it because it's only oil. Then you have different ways to make rubber, right? But I think the way I showed you is definitely the best, because you transform crude oil into heavy oil, residue and polymer resin. This gives you access to everything. It gives you access to the petroleum coke, to the rubber, and to the plastic in the best way possible with the recycled one. So then, I went through the numbers. We know we have 600 of crude oil in one pipe. So how many, can we get? Well, we can do 20 refineries. That will give us 800 of heavy oil residue. That will give us 400 of resin. I went, okay, with 400 and resin, what can I do? Well, I can have 10 refineries. It's going to require also 400 of water to make 200 of rubber. And then, as I said, I split these 200 of rubber into two. 100, it's the same recipe where we recycle it with fuel to make some plastic. So we have 200 and 200. Then I keep 200 if we need to do it for something. For example, it could be that, you want to make some canisters, right? And then this other 200, we're going to sand and redo the same thing, but the other way around to make rubber. And so then I sum up, the fuel. Okay, it's 100 plus 100 plus 200. So that's 400 of fuel. So I looked at, okay, what will it take to make 400 of fuel? It will take 4 of these blenders with 200 of heavy oil residue will make this 400 of fuel. So we started with 800 of heavy oil residue. We're using 200 here. So we know we have 600 left. And so then we looked over here, knowing that I have 600 of heavy oil residue. What can I do? Well, I can have 15 refineries to make 1,800 of petroleum coke. But at the same time, I knew I needed some petroleum coke for my circuit board, right? I actually need 480. So I check 480 is 4 of those refineries. So we take 4 out of 15. We have 11 left, right? And then I organize the 11 into 2 blocks because, it's too many for a Mark V belt. And then, as always, I know I have a bit of a target for my computers based on what I want to use them for. So with this target of 40, I have what's needed, right? I know it's needed 20 crystal oscillators and 60 circuit boards. So for 60 circuit boards, we need 240 of rubber and 480 of petroleum coke. Speaking of petroleum coke, by the way, is another reason why I was like, it's fine to make tons of other petroleum coke, is because we will be able to use an alternate recipe to transform this petroleum coke into diamond into the future in tier 9. It's not the best way to make diamonds, let's be clear. Actually, this one over here, we just take the crude oil, is even better. Not by much, but better. And there's many other ways to make diamonds, but it wasn't the waste, it's like, I know I can use it for something into the future. So it is, in a sense, our oil computer factory. We're only taking 1 of the 600 per minute pipe of crude oil, so there's still 3 remaining, but with 1, this is already creating a lot of things, right? Finishing into, 40 computers, right? 40 computers, which goes into this drone port. I can see a drone came really recently. And this drone is going to go this side. It's going to go this side to where all the drones go, over there, right? Actually, is that this one? No, it's not. It goes into this computer hub delivery over there, right? We can see, full of computers. It is going to join some other here. So it's probably a good time for us to go check that out. It's our next step. So it is, we are really in the drone hub over here. This is all of the drones that are sending a lot of fuel away, and these are the drones that are bringing back resources, right? Including the 3 new resources we just created in the last few episodes. We have a lot of crystal oscillators here, a lot of aluminum casing, and a lot of those computers. all three of these resources going into this new line of manufacturers. We're talking about 8 manufacturers, as you can see, 4 on each side, all making radio control units with, frankly, the standard recipe. There are actually 2 other recipes, but none of them sort of made my fancy, let's say. The second one, heatsink, high-speed connector, this is pretty advanced stuff, and I wasn't really trying to make any of these for other production either. The last one is actually not bad because it's crystal oscillators, similar to this one. It is circuit boards, so you're gonna need circuit boards for computers, and it is aluminum casing, so the same as this one, and then rubber. And again, you probably need rubber for either your circuit board or for your computers, right? So this was actually an interesting one. I didn't do it because it was more resources, and also the ratios are not that great. I mean, it's better for the crystal oscillators, but it's not better for the circuit boards. It's definitely more there. And it's also worse for the aluminum casing, because while you produce more here, it's 2.5, 4.5, but it's less than double, and it's more than double for the aluminum casing. So I'm not saying they're completely worse. I think it's just, it's different. It's different. And similar to everything else, I did a bit of a back of the envelope to understand how much radio control unit I want. We know that we want around 10 of radio control units for my plutonium factory, so that was a given. But do we need anything else? We need a bit for the turbo motor, a bit for the nuclear pasta, and then a bit also for tier 9 stuff, but not that much more. So in total, it's like 20 seems plenty enough. So 20, that means 20 computers. That means 10 crystal oscillators, and that means 320 aluminum casing. So we're definitely making enough for all of this, right? We're making 40 computer, making, 50 crystal oscillators, and we're only using 20 for my computers. So we still had 30 crystal oscillators free, and we had just enough aluminum casing. It was on purpose. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about this, right? Like, it's normal manufacturers. We have all of the resources here in the middle, and then on the outside we're going to merge them. And again, I'm making more than what I need. We only need 10 or a bit less than 10, and I'm making 20. So this is full, and this has stopped. I haven't put yet awesome sink because I know I'm gonna need more, but yeah, it's there. And then the key thing was indeed with all of those radio control units, now this production of assemblers with fused modular frames is working at 100% to make my pressure conversion cubes, right? This production here used to be a big problem, wasn't working at 100%, now it is working at 100%, making a lot of those pressure cubes, which we are sending into our nuclear facility or plutonium facility right over here. It is, which one is it? It is this one here, if I remember correctly. There is a death rate. I died in the middle of the ocean, it seems. That was probably because of some plutonium, actually. But yeah, let's try actually to take this guy. No, come on, wait for me. Okay, because that's the guy that's going to the nuclear facility, so hopefully can get us there. And fun fact, oh no, we failed. And fun fact, actually, when I was working on finishing that plutonium factory, this drone just swooped me up out of nowhere. But let me swim back to the shore, and I'll see you when we arrive. The plutonium power plant is now actually reaching all the way to the copper ore plant, right? This copper mining situation over here. That was almost the beginning of our nuclear uranium, right? The uranium was going all the way here. But now, yeah, it's reaching all the way here because we have a lot of these water production. And by the way, that's the drone that was supposed to get me here, but it didn't want to. So yeah, we have, what is it? I think it's 48. We have 48 of these, 24 on both sides. So that is 12 pipes on each side, 24 in total, but 12 on each side that are full of water. Now, to be honest, they are not actually at 600 because we don't need 600. We need 480 for one of these power plant, right? And because we need 480, you can't have one pipe for two. That would be too big. So I just kept one for each. Because yeah, that's the number. We have 24 of these, right? All on both sides, 12 on both sides, and it is the 12 pipes, one for each. You can see one for each, all the way here, one for each, all the way there. And then if we look under it, obviously we also have, a pump for each of them, right? Because we need to pump it a bit high. For each of them, we also have, oh, I see we're missing, sorry, one belt here, my bad. We have at the bottom the two resources, one input, one output. The input is the plutonium rod, the output is the plutonium waste. Right now it's not connected, but yeah, they're all there. You can see on this side and then it goes on that side here. And if we go to below, this is where the waste will come. Waste here, waste there. Plutonium waste, right? Not uranium waste, it's a new one. And it will go all the way at the end there. I haven't connected them, but again, I'm pretty sure I didn't make a mistake. I mean, say this, obviously, when you turn it on, you always find you made one mistake somewhere. But I'm pretty sure I didn't. So yeah, everything is ready. The only thing missing is connecting this to that. We have actually tons of reserves of plutonium rod there, right? This is all full. We're even making now points into the coupons with it because it's completely full. And yeah, this is now, you're gonna see on this side here, working at 100%, in the sense that, you know, we're getting enough of those pressure cubes. You can see this is full. Right here is the pressure cubes we're getting, and we're getting also enough of the aluminum casing that's going there. This is for all of these. And so with that, we've started to really decrease the number of uranium waste that we have. Right? We were actually getting very close to having the whole thing full of uranium waste. It's actually creating tons of radiation level. But yeah, we were basically very close to have all of these storages full. And now there's still some for sure. It's quite a lot, to be honest. But we're getting lower and lower. You can see this one is empty. This one is empty. This one is not empty yet, but it's getting there. It was actually, I think when I looked at it, you know, just before the beginning of this episode, it was somewhere over here. And yeah, it's getting down slowly but surely. So I think what we can do is also start deleting some of these. So we see a bit better our progress. You know, I like that. It's good. Good stuff. It is actually not really the right level, sorry. My bad. But yeah, we're starting slowly but surely to decrease the amount of uranium. We don't really need more electricity right now, right? This is still okay. We're not even using all of these. I think we have 6 or 7 that are on. Remember, all of these are on. Those 5 here are on. Or those 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 4 are on. This one is on too, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, my bad, actually. Maybe they're all on. No. So we have 8 on. There is one that is off, one that is paused. But the key thing is, again, now we could have 24 on over here. So instead of just having 9, we would have way more. And this is the equivalent in terms of production. You know, each of these is making 5,000 without the bonuses. And it's the same for these ones. You know, each of these is also overclocked to 200%. So they're all making 5,002 without the bonuses. So yeah, this is tons of electricity. I'm not going to put it on right now because that's going to create waste. And for now, we're not able to do anything with the plutonium waste. We will be able to take care of the plutonium waste though with tier 9. So for now, this is just basically giving me a bit more of points every time. Loving that. But yeah, here it is, ladies and gents. My plutonium refinement now is definitely working. This thing here is pretty crazy, I know. It's not beautiful, I know, but it is working, I guarantee you. They're all there. So yeah, we have finished silicon quartz crystal oscillators, aluminum casing, computers more than what we need, radio control unit more than what we need, and so now our plutonium factory is 100% efficient. Next episode, we restart, playing the actual story. We have finished all of the milestones for tier 8, so it's really time to finish phase 4. So we're gonna build those things here. The numbers are a lot lower than during early access, right? It's 500, 500, 250, and 100. So it shouldn't take us long. But yeah, that's gonna be in the next episode. Please smash like button. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you next time.